aslında kuruluşundan beri derneğimizin en önemli destekçilerinden biri ve her zaman olduğu gibi bu akşam da misafirimizi ağırlayan ev sahibimiz aslında. Pınar'cığım hoş geldin tekrar.
Hoş bulduk.
Ve
Çok
ben Çağla Gülşen kardeş. Çok kısa yayın başlamadan önce birkaç küçük hatırlatma yapmak için sizlerleyim. Hem bir herkese İstanbul Blockchain Women Yönetim Kurulu adına merhaba ve hoş geldiniz demek istedim. Hem de bugün ağırladığımız sevgili Iyandra Smith Bryan, Pınar ve belki kendisi biraz sizlere bahsedecektir. Hem bir akademisyen, hem bir profesyonel, çok başarılı bir iş insanı, fintech sektöründe, kripto ve blockchain ekosisteminde ve benim nazarımda en az bunlar kadar ve belki çok daha kıymetli olan gerçek bir toplumsal cinsiyet eşitliği savunucusu. Amerika'da şu an kendisi, Amerika'dan katılıyor yayına ve neredeyse Amerika'yı aşıp bütün dünyaya erişen bir şekilde özellikle kadınların güçlenmesi konusunda da çok önemli çalışmalar yapıyor. Biraz sonra Pınar hocamızın sorularıyla bütün bu bahsettiğim konularda kendi bilgi ve deneyimlerini aktarıyor olacak Iyandra zaten. Küçük bir not da belki derneğimizle ilgili paylaşırsam iyi olabilir diye düşündüm. Aslında bizler bütün kurucu üyeleri ve destekçileri olarak 2018-2019'lu yıllarda yolları kesişmiş ve bir platform olarak bu kripto veya blockchain ekosisteminde, bu teknoloji dikeyinde bir araya gelmiş ve nasıl daha fazla kadınların da bu ekosistemde varlığını artırırız diye çalışmalara başlamış bir grup insanken bugün kocaman bir aile İstanbul Blockchain Women ve 2 seneyi aşkın süredir de dernek olarak faaliyetlerini yürütmeye devam ediyor. Kapımız herkese açık. Bu sektörü, bu teknolojiyi, bu ekosistemi bilen, bilmek isteyen, hiç bilmeyen, bizlerle birlikte olmak isteyen, kadın, erkek hiçbir konuda bir ayrımımız yok. Destek vermek isteyen, destek almak isteyen herkese her zaman bekliyoruz derneğimize. Bir küçük hatırlatma da aslında bugüne özel yine derneğimizin işbirliği yaptığı firmalardan biri olan, platformlardan biri olan Utilify'ın küçük bir hediyesiyle ilgili. Yayın esnasında ekrana QR kodlar gelecek. QR kodları gördüğünüzde telefonunuza bu QR kodu okutursanız Utilify'ın ve derneğimizin bu yayına özel hazırladığı küçük bir hediye var. Aslında bu yayının anısına birer NFT hediye ediyor olacağız sizlere Utilify'ın desteğiyle. Yani ekrana böyle küçük QR kodlar geldiğinde hızla telefonunuzla okutup NFT'nizi almayı da unutmayın lütfen. Ve dear Iyandra, I feel so lucky that we have you here tonight. Whenever I have the chance to have a chat with you, I'm always impressed, and I'm pretty sure tonight is gonna be one of those nights and days. So thank you very much for joining us tonight, our night indeed, and thank you very much as a forward for all the experience and knowledge that you're going to be sharing with us. I already shared about you that you are a tough, true believer in gender equality. You are a super professional in the finance and fintech technology and industry, and as well, you are an academics. So thank you again for joining us and welcome to our live broadcast. Now I'm going to be leaving the stage for your chat with dear Pınar. Have a nice chat.
Thank
Görüşmek üzere.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Çağla. Such a great introduction. My name is Pınar Çağlayan-Aksoy, as mentioned by dear Çağla. I'm also a university professor at Bilkent University Faculty of Law, and I have been working closely with blockchain women since I think 2019. I first met Ebru, and then I met all the amazing blockchain women in Turkey, and they are doing a great job empowering women and making themselves heard. That we have lawyers there, we have entrepreneurs, tech people, and they are really, really doing an amazing job. And whenever I talk about Istanbul blockchain women, everybody is just so impressed, especially people outside, that we have a community of women in Turkey working in the field of blockchain. So, Iyandra, thank you so much for being with us today with your gorgeous office, gorgeous smile, and your gorgeous experience. We sure do want to know more about you. Could I just ask first to introduce yourself and please your company? we want to know more about you after I move forward with my questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Pinar. Thank you, Istanbul Blockchain Women, for having me. And I just want to say I agree with the comments that you got. To have a group of women that are all experts in blockchain, I am jealous. I am impressed. You guys should be so proud of yourselves. It truly is an incredible industry. But we need to do our part to get more women in the space, especially on the side of the world where I am right now. So I am Iyandra Smith Bryan. I am the COO of a dynamic fintech brokerage, I like to say, Quantfury. And Quantfury really was started because we wanted to make retail trading a lot less exploitative, a lot more honest, fair, and transparent. We do have users in Turkey, and it's incredible because our user acquisition rate continues to increase in Turkey. So we're very happy with that. I've been in the fintech industry not very long, for a few years, but I've been in financial services for more than 13 years. So started off practicing law for several years in commercial and securities law, and then transitioning to be the CEO of one of the largest Swiss banks. So it truly has been an amazing career. I always say, making the shift from traditional finance to fintech has been incredibly dynamic, exciting, and I feel like I'm exactly where I belong. So I'm so happy to be having this conversation with you today, Pinar.
Oh, that's great. I mean, when you talked about the convergence between TradFi and DeFi right now, yes. I just think, like, we were debating this morning, what's going to happen between the traditional finance and decentralized finance, and when is it going to happen? How are they going to implement one another? So you're just a great example of that. And I also heard that you have, and I haven't listened to it yet, but I surely will. Can you talk a little bit about your OnlyFems postcard series?
Oh, so I actually had Chal on the podcast. She closed season 1 of the podcast, and that was amazing. I was in our Toronto office, and I literally looked around. So this is a true story, and all of us here are women. It's a safe space. I don't know if there are some men in here, but as I was looking around, I said, "Oh my gosh!" I knew that the sector was heavily dominated by men, but looking at my own office, I just thought, I want to do better to improve women in the fintech space, women coming into technology, period. And I just thought about, what could it be like? I mean, I literally was seeing men playing ping pong and playing games and on their computers. And I thought, what could it be like if I could bring more women into the space by just creating a conversation, creating a dialogue where we women could talk to each other about any issue that affects financial independence, career transition, how to better our skill sets. What if we had this safe space and safe dialogue? And in having that dialogue, we can learn and we can get sort of actionable tasks or takeaways from other women that could help us to become better. And so that's really why I launched OnlyFems podcast, and it truly has been an amazing journey. We've had so many conversations about the need for more women in the industry, the need for more women to come into blockchain technology and seeing the impact there, the need for more women to get financial independence, but also the need for all of us to support each other as we want to pursue and achieve our goals. So it's been incredible.
Okay, yeah, that's great. I really will listen to them. I'll have access to them. It's great to hear that. I mean, because we're now all in the era of podcasts, and I think it's a great way to reach out to women. Exactly. So I'm sure you've done a great job. Iyandra, I just want to move on a little bit to blockchain technology, since your expertise in the past years have also crossed their paths with blockchain technology. I myself have not ever had like a cryptocurrency exchange, or I haven't been giving any advice about cryptos and when should you buy them, etc. But I really am a believer of blockchain technology and its transformative power that's going to happen not only in finance but also in supply chains, in digital identity. So I really want to know your opinion about blockchain industry, and what do you think the key benefits of blockchain industry are?
Oh, there are so many. And you all know that. You're the experts in blockchain. You know that blockchain technology has so many key benefits for so many industries, like you said, supply chain management, and it really boils down to blockchain's two key properties, right? The first aspect, distribution. We know that numerous copies of the ledger exist throughout the network. Each time you have a new transaction, each time a block is added, everyone within the network receives that copy. So that's huge. That's a huge property that we need to think about. There's no single entity, no single intermediary, no single institution that controls the ledger, but the system gives everyone the same information. And I want to talk more about how this relates to and how this revolutionizes financial services. But I just want to highlight these two properties because I think it's so critical. The second property is this immutability, accuracy, and we're going to get to transparency and trust. But because each person within the network has a copy, it's nearly impossible, right, to alter or to erase any transaction. So there's a trust factor there where you know that it's going to be really difficult to bring this down. There's going to be accurate chronological history of transactions, and we can have faith that this actually exists. That's really important for financial services. I was talking to a friend recently about just the whole idea of the banking system. Currently, especially in certain places, it's heavily manual. When we think about just a process like obtaining a mortgage, what do you go through to obtain a mortgage in the traditional financial system? You have to go into a bank, likely, submit information. That information has to be reviewed. Your credit has to be checked. There's dialogue back and forth. There's likely going to be verification processes from a KYC perspective. And it usually takes 30 to 60 days to make this happen, right? So many major financial institutions now, when they're going through their lending processes, it's very antiquated, archaic, it's slow and tedious between the information verification, the loan processing, the credit scoring, and then the actual distribution of the funds to you. Blockchain streamlines that entirely, right? So identity, the distributed ledger, is nearly impossible to alter. Makes it very easy to track ownership there. Transaction, we have transaction fees that are going to be reduced because we're streamlining efficiencies here, reducing counterparty risk, decreasing issuance, and decreasing settlement time. So that's just one example of how these two properties of blockchain can truly benefit financial services. One I always like to talk about, because there are so many blockchain use cases in financial services, and all of these have the power to revolutionize the sector. But one I always like to talk about is payments. I actually had a lady from South Africa on my show, and she talked about how long it takes to transmit payments from one jurisdiction in Africa to another. So if you want to send $200 from Kenya to South Africa, it could take upwards of 7 days. And it could cost a global average rate of about 6.94% if you're just sending $200 between two jurisdictions. So when we think about global payments and remittances, they're executed by a number of intermediaries. Some of the big ones that I can think of in the US at least are Western Union, MoneyGram. And so think about what blockchain technology can do for global payments and remittances. It has the ability to streamline payments, taking out the Western Union, taking out the middleman, significantly reducing costs, reducing settlement times, importantly, digitizing that KYC data, right? So that identification, that this is actually legitimate, reducing the risk of fraud, but as well enabling real-time authentication. So these are just some of the ways that we see blockchain truly adding value to financial services particularly.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to hear your opinion a little bit more specifically on this following issue, because we were talking about this just today, this morning in Istanbul Fintech Week. So we had traditional finance, then we moved to centralized finance, then we're moving on to DeFi and lots of FIs to follow probably. How do you see their convergence? Because we know that banking is a highly regulated sector, whereas when we come to blockchain, there are lots of gray areas. So how would you evaluate the combination or convergence of TradFi and DeFi in the future? This also promoted by blockchain technology.
And a lot of persons, when you have this conversation with them, they're afraid. And they talk about, there are so many risks associated with DeFi. Anonymity may not always be the right thing when we think about money laundering risk, etc. And what I always tell people is the efficiencies and the reduced costs that are going to come with this technology are something that TradFi should welcome. So I do see that this very much it converging. We see this even with global financial institutions like JP Morgan, that CEO Jamie Dimon may say, I don't really buy the crypto thing, but we have actually used blockchain technology within our payment system and it's working. It's actually working. It's actually helping us to reduce money laundering risk because we can better identify the source of the funds. We can better track ownership. And the government has to be able to understand, though, how the technology works. And so I was speaking at a conference last year and we had a number of regulators there, and they admitted that they are not even fully aware of the technology and how the technology works. And in order for them to be able to accept DeFi or even regulate the space, they need to be able to have a better understanding. But where we are going and where the regulators know we're going is that the future of financial services right now is about 95%, probably more, TradFi. We know that, right? The market. But we know that that's going to continue decreasing for DeFi. And so how do we get a handle on being able to regulate the space? I don't see TradFi going away. I don't see it dissipating. I see it all coming together. How can we better regulate the space, and how can we take the efficiencies from the DeFi space and actually add value to TradFi? So we talked a lot about making the account opening processes, making the mortgage lending processes a lot more efficient, but also asset collateralization. So when we think about tokenization, for example, blockchain technology can help that. And there are other ways where we can enhance our current processes now under TradFi by using the technology. So the question is understanding the technology. So equipping, I don't know how it is in Turkey, with your regulator, with the Capital Markets Board, and how, if they've actually set up a team here to better understand the technology. But the first thing is truly understanding it, understanding where there may be loopholes, and understanding how we can either regulate this holistically or look at it separately. But we're not moving backwards. We're going to be moving forward. And I like that you said initially that you're you see the value in blockchain, although you don't fully understand the crypto aspect, because I think a lot of people put the two together and they're not, And I think that the danger in putting the two together is when we see all of the things that are happening right now in the industry, you want to downplay the true benefit and value of blockchain technology. And I don't think we should do that. The two are separate. Of course, Bitcoin, we know, is born from blockchain technology, but those should be separate. So I do believe that blockchain technology will revolutionize finance, period. And you will see more of a convergence. But of course, with that requires better regulation, and that's going to require a know-how from regulators on how to actually get into the sector, understand the activity, understand the framework to be able to regulate it better.
And in Turkey, it's been on the agenda since 2019. It's been on the development plans of the government. And we even have some regulations, but that are not really pro blockchain, I might say. They are more, focused on the AML KYC part, but we're expecting some regulations after the elections that's going to take place this spring. So fingers crossed, and I hope that it's going to be innovative. I feel that the people who know blockchain in Turkey know it really well, but people who don't know them, they just think that it's all about crypto and it's something, that should stay away from. So yeah, we're going to see what's going to happen in Turkey, but I'm optimistic about it because there's so much going on and people are really interested. So I'm really optimistic about the future.
Yeah.
So going back to you, Iyandra,
it is the future of financial services. It is, and as a regulator, you would surely be missing something if you don't see that, right? I mean, we're going to have more international payments with blockchain technology. Consumers are going to be using blockchain money transfers to complete electronic transfers with mobile devices. They're not going to go stand on a Western Union line. We're going to see them actually taking under their wing more global payment transfers using blockchain technology. So it's up to us to see it as the future of financial services and to get ahead of it.
Yeah, you need to acknowledge it in order to act on it, right? You need to understand that this is going to happen, and I think we're in that phase. Like we're kind of understanding that this is really going to happen. So we need to be quick in order to become one of the global hubs, which is something that we can do, I think. So yeah, hopefully. Iyandra, I just want to know, and our audience to know more about Quantfury. How does Quantfury use blockchain technology, and what has been your experience through Quantfury?
I wonder if anyone has used Quantfury that's watching this.
Well, I checked it. I had an experience before we had this meeting.
Yeah, we have some. It's if you go on YouTube and you just search Turkey Quantfury, it's amazing. Yeah, you have some people in Turkey that are talking about Quantfury, and I love hearing what they have to say. But Quantfury essentially was a platform that was born out of a desire to make trading a lot less exploitative. So currently, when you look at trading firms, there are the two market participants. On the one hand, you have the traditional trading firms. I don't know if you guys have heard about like the big trading firms like Robinhood, those kind of firms. You go online, you buy stock, you buy bonds, etc. And on the other hand, you have crypto exchanges. So large exchanges like OKX, we would have all heard about FTX before, Binance, etc. And so you find that you either have a group of people, and Turkish people love to trade. Let me tell you, Turkish people love to trade. They will either go on one of these market participants' website. They'll go on the crypto exchange and they'll say, okay, we want to leverage crypto to trade, right? To purchase whatever, or we're going to go on the trading firms. And on the trading firm side, we see that they manipulate spreads. So the difference between the bid and the ask price, they manipulate it in a way where they can have higher revenues. On the crypto exchange side, you often see that there are trading fees and commissions that they charge users. So our founder, when he came up with this idea, he said, I want to, create a platform that has no commissions, no fees, so that if users do lose money, most people lose when they're trading, they'll actually lose less. But importantly, what he said was he wanted to utilize blockchain technology in particular because he wanted to create the ultimate transparency for users. So so in pursuit of this high level of transparency that we had as a company, we publish all of our platforms' anonymous trading data in encrypted form, and the hash of that data is stored in an Ethereum smart contract. And so we actually provide the tools to our users to verify the consistency of instrument prices at any given time. And so that's how we use blockchain technology. We say, there's a problem here that we see in the world. We see brokerages manipulating spreads. We see crypto exchanges charging really high fees, making billions of dollars of profits on the backs of pretty regular users. And a lot of retail users are trading because the currency in their jurisdiction is seeing kind of what we're seeing in Turkey with the Turkish lira, right? There's a lot of volatility. And so they're looking for another avenue to make money. And these participants are taking advantage, right, of the user's desire to do that. And so by using blockchain technology, we're saying we're going to make everything fully transparent. We actually are very interested in future development. We want to create an all-encompassing decentralized application. It is something that we are thinking about. But that's essentially why the company was started and how we use blockchain technology. And it probably is the biggest benefit for us is this transparency. Now some people will say transparency is great, trust is great, but is that enough? And so there's this notion that, well, because it's so transparent, is that a bad thing for users in emerging markets? And we don't think that. We believe that the core of the relationship should be trust and transparency. Having it all on a blockchain gives us the ability to do that.
Okay. Well, while you were talking, I just had this question in my mind. During your experience, what kind of legal hurdles did you come across with? Like, what do you think are the main aspects of blockchain technology, or your kind of your initiative? What would be the legal hurdles that you would come across with if you're dealing with this technology?
I think I just want to speak more from the practical aspects of just
Definitely,
doing
yeah.
business, just doing business.
No, what made you like sweat? What made you, think like, I mean, if this was better regulated, or what made you think like, I mean, this is going to be a legal issue for us? Are there any examples that you can share with us?
So anybody that's in a business where the product is utilizing blockchain technology, depending on the sector that business is in, may encounter some roadblocks. So you talked about supply chain management and how blockchain technology is helping supply chain management to become more efficient. That's great, and that's actually, you find a lot of leaders pushing for that. They want to see that technology is helping, to make things more efficient, especially when it comes to production and supply chain. When you're dealing with a regulated sector, like securities, and you add in a blockchain technology element, it becomes incredibly tricky. Because a lot of jurisdictions, when you add blockchain technology to a product, they automatically think, okay, this is more like a digital service, digital asset. A lot of them don't have it defined as yet, but it's in a different category, and we don't exactly know how to treat this category. So when the company was founded in 2018, there were a lot, I think for about 2 years, a lot of issues with various jurisdictions on navigating this. Because think about it, 2018, there wasn't really any legislation. There wasn't anything. And then when you would approach people and you would tell them about the product, they didn't fully understand. And so the company had a lot of meetings with various regulators all over the world, jurisdictions all over the world, explaining about the product, explaining about the technology, and people just didn't get it. Okay. So once we got to about 2020, 2021, we were able to find some jurisdictions that understood the product, understood the technology, and they weren't automatically putting us in the same category as a crypto exchange or a digital asset service provider. But that was really difficult because blockchain technology has not yet gotten to the point, at least from what I've seen in the regulated financial services sector, where jurisdictions can fully understand and comprehend how can we treat this particular type of business. It's not a traditional broker-dealer, right? It's not a traditional financial institution. It's a company that's going to be offering a product that actually utilizes blockchain technology. So I think that was probably one of the hiccups. I have to say, I don't know how much you guys know about the Bahamas' legislation. But because the U.S., there's been all this sort of tug of war between where should we be? Should we be here or there? And there's a lot of misunderstanding there with regulation. Things are not so clear as yet. There were a lot of people who wanted to use this technology who were going to the Cayman Islands or to Bermuda or to Hong Kong, and to the Bahamas. And what made the Bahamas so interesting was they actually not only understood the technology, but they also drafted a piece of legislation in 2020 that dealt with businesses that utilize the technology within regulated services. So I think that was a great help for us, to be able to at least start there. Of course, we are looking to expand a lot of different places. We're actually having a lot of discussions now with other jurisdictions on the particular products and on the power of blockchain technology. And I'm curious to see where Turkey goes, because I would love to be able to do a lot more there in Turkey, and for people to truly understand how impactful blockchain technology can be when it comes to trading and investing.
Yeah. I really think for Turkey too, I think one of the most important things that the regulators or the legislators have to take into account is the characterization of digital assets. I think that's going to be a great starting point, because the other things, the taxation issues, the IP issues, etc. Once you define it legally, then you can find all the relative legal solutions. It's not really that hard, but defining it and putting it in our well-known traditional classifications, it's really a tough job. And as you said, they have to understand the technology first. I hope that it's going to be someone who really understands it, who writes all this legislation and regulation.
I have to invite you guys. You
sorry.
need to, Pinar, you need to go. I don't know if you guys are training the regulators, if you're training the team from capital markets, but
yeah, we're kind of expecting it's going to be, I think, the Capital Markets Board in Turkey that's going to do the regulation. That's what we think. It's like can also be the Central Bank of Turkey may be involved, but we're going to see about that. But I certainly hope that they at least include a definition of digital asset and crypto assets. It's going to, because that's where the world is leading. When I look at it from a legal perspective, I see that a lot of institutions that are focusing on unification, like UNIDRA in the USA, the UCC, they're all trying to define and identify digital assets. So I think that's the one point that all the states can agree on. So hopefully we can jump on the train too.
Yes, jump on it and define it first. And that's what the Bahamas did. They said, we're going to define distributed ledger technology, and any product or offering that utilizes the technology will come under this particular legislative regime.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good start. Yeah. Iyandra, one of the questions that I was waiting for the most, I just want to hear your opinion about how blockchain technology would support women in gaining financial independence. So women in blockchain, what do you think?
More opportunities. There are more opportunities. There are so many opportunities that the blockchain gives to be able to not just say, you know what, I actually can monetize from this, but to say that you actually own this. You guys have been putting up on the screen NFTs and the utilization of NFTs. Some people will say that that's a means where you can actually take a piece of something and women can actually own it. One of the reasons I actually wanted to start the podcast as well was because I saw so many women. I had friends in my circle who were working at jobs, going 9 to 5, working for many, many years. Of course, they just negotiated for salary, not ownership or not equity. But at the end of their careers, they did not see or did not realize financial independence. And I thought, how many women need to truly monetize their skill sets or need to be able to obtain equity into something and have ownership into something that's going to give them residual income for the rest of their life. So blockchain technology provides them with the ability to do that, with a gamut of opportunities to be able to do that. Actually, I'm part of a circle in Miami, a Miami women's group, with an incredible woman who has actually taken blockchain technology. She's an artist, and she started doing NFTs years ago, but she's become a multimillionaire in about 4 to 5 years. Whereas she did not have the ability to do that before, simply because it's actually equipped her with the ability to own. Yeah. So beginning to think about not only how can I monetize the service that I'm giving, right? But also all of the entrepreneurial ways that you can actually utilize the technology. Here at Quantfury, we've utilized it in the form of a trading platform. It's great for data protection and for other ways, and all these things can be monetized, but truly, how can you also get ownership? And there are many ways that you can do that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I just want to finish off with one final question. How do you see the blockchain technology and its transformative aspects? What's going to happen? What do you expect? What are we going to see as some of the maybe barriers before the widespread application of blockchain technology? What's going to happen in the next 5 years, according to you?
I really do think that you're going to see more traditional financial institutions. We see this with JP Morgan and Onyx actually now either buying companies or employing the technology within their operations. And that's going to contribute to it being mainstream even more so. We know that you guys, Chala has been doing this since 2017. I'm like, she's the expert because when I go to conferences and I speak to people that know a lot about blockchain technology, they just came in, like a year ago, But imagine, I really do believe that we're going to continue to see companies like JP Morgan, but also IBM. Think about IBM. It's a global company that does a wide gamut of things, also employing blockchain technology within its finding ways to enhance its current service model by employing blockchain technology. So you're going to have a lot of that happening, and that's going to continue the expansion of blockchain, making it more mainstream. I also believe that there has to be more use cases. I mean, think about it. There are a lot of use cases, pretty much in every sector for how blockchain technology can benefit the sector. But there has to be even more, and we're going to hear about it. And so with more use cases coming on stream, and with also more sectors seeing the value and the benefit of blockchain technology, we're going to have a lot more people well-versed and well-knowledgeable about the technology. I also want to see a lot more diversity in the space. I have to tell you, you guys should be so proud that you have this Blockchain Women's Association, but I don't see that enough. The reality is when we go to conferences, it's heavily male. And a lot of women, and I'm not sure if you're seeing this, Pinar, on the ground there, but a lot of women have a perception issue when it comes to blockchain technology. They look at it like, oh, it's too complicated. I don't understand it. I don't know. And I always tell women, there is a place for you in the sector, even if you're non-technical.
Yeah.
So
well, I'm
logical.
I'm an example of that. I don't know coding, but I still, try to understand it, try to push myself towards it, try to, better implement it. But I don't know coding. I mean, that's something that I'm not proud of, but I still believe in the technology and its transformative power.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be technical or technological to be in the industry. So we need more women coming to meetups, learning about the technology, but there are certain skill sets that we need from you. So at Quantfury, what I've realized is when we would go out and we'd put ads in the paper for particular jobs, we would not get any women applying. And there was just this perception issue. Well, I don't understand. Can I really do that? And so we've had to actively and intentionally seek women and say, you have a skill set over here. You're really good at marketing, and we believe that you can contribute in this way. Or you're really good at operations, and we believe you can contribute in that way. So we need more women, not thinking they have to be technical to be a part of the Istanbul Blockchain Women Association, but all women coming together. And when you bring those female operators, when you bring those think about it, female marketers, when everybody's coming together, they're understanding the benefit of the technology, that's all going to help to make it a lot more mainstream.
Yeah, I was talking to a US colleague today, a colleague from the US, and he told me that last month, I think, JP Morgan had 160 job openings for blockchain. People working in the area. I think that's something really huge, 160 people. I mean, I just wonder how many of them were female, sorry, just because you asked. I hope more women were employed in those job hiring procedure.
Yeah. And think about it, the global financial institutions, and I always like to say this, I love following some of the larger firms and seeing what they're doing, and I usually read their annual reports. And Jamie Dimon, he wrote in his annual report to the shareholders, we have to employ technology. And he had in all caps, because Silicon Valley is coming for us. And so I love that, because when global financial institutions are saying, oh my gosh, there's something here, something going on here, we need to get a piece of it and have this be a part of us. If we're going to keep up, that tells us that they see it as the future. Yeah. They see it as the future, and that's why they're making the investment now. PwC, a Big Four accounting firm, did some research, and they found that after surveying all the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies in the US, that the number one priority for CEOs are, how do we incorporate new forms of technology within our business? So they're all making huge capital investments and hiring people who understand and who know blockchain technology, because they're trying to get their mind around it. Company like IBM, Xerox, Xerox is hiring people who know blockchain technology, because think about it, the Xerox machine days are gone. They're trying to figure out how do we keep up. I've also heard that the large money services providers, Western Union, are hiring people with expertise in blockchain technology because they know if this technology becomes what we think it's going to become, what we know it's going to become, we're going to be out of business. So let's figure out how do we employ this so we can get a piece of this pie. And so that's why it's so important for us to have a basic understanding of it, but also for us to know that even if we're not technical, we can still go into these divisions of financial institutions that are dealing with blockchain technology and still add value and add impact with the other skill sets that we have. I'm not a technical person. I'm a COO. I'm an operator. Came into a fintech firm. I'm surrounded by tech people. But the reality is there's a lot that I can do to add value to the company. So that's going to be really important. Getting women to really have that confidence to come into the space, because not all of us can be Pinars, right? Or Chalas, right? So some of us, we're like, but I've never done anything. Where can I start? And to know that you can. And it's also groups like this one, support, mentorship. What I'm doing at Quantfury is I'm actually helping with the pipeline of persons that are coming into the organization. So we're supporting high school students, undergraduate students throughout South America and other places. I'd like to do that in Turkey as well. But we're finding girls that are in junior high school and we're saying, we're going to help you. We're going to pay for your education. And we're going to give you the money that you need to get the knowledge that you need to be able to start this pipeline of people coming out that have an understanding of blockchain technology.
Yeah, we also started to have some new courses opening up in the area. I myself teach in an undergraduate level, a group of 65 very eager students who volunteered to take up this course. I mean, it's basically on legal aspects, but we talk about some technicalities of blockchain, and you're always welcome, Iyandra. It was just so great meeting you. So before we close, do you have any final messages to Istanbul blockchain women and our viewers, our audience?
Yeah, I just have to say, continue with what you're doing and building the network of women. A lot of women, the reality is they have nowhere to start, right? On how do I even know, or how do I even begin to learn about this technology? And so with meetups like this one, they can come and meet other like-minded women. We're also seeing now with a lot of women's associations around the world that people are actually able to do unpaid internships or learn more about the technology through someone that they met in an association saying, come here, I want you to do a part-time internship or something along that sort. So continue with the work. It's incredible, the work that you've been doing. And I can tell you, I'm like, okay, we have to replicate the work of Istanbul Blockchain Association else places, because it's really, really good work. But also look at how you can connect individuals as well. Sometimes, when you think about it, all of us have skill sets that we can offer a value to another person. So think about how can you connect people together, be connectors, and that's what you guys are doing there. And really continue this drive to get more women into the industry. We need it. I always say that, and I can tell you, I hope that none of my team, my team always says, oh, you favoritize women. And I said, no, this is the statistics, right? So when you look at all the stats that have been done, what we know about just typical traditional finance culture is, for the most part, it can be, I don't want to say competitive, but it can be toxic in some ways. And I think a lot of that is underlying sort of dog. I don't know if you guys have this saying in Turkey, Pinar, but a dog-eat-dog world that's driven by heavily male-dominated culture. And when you bring women into spaces that are, heavily male-dominated, like this one, like technology, like finance, what we see is that the culture of the organization becomes better, and there's actual stats to show that companies become more profitable. Why? Because women are a lot more empathetic, they're a lot more collaborative, they're a lot more detailed. And actually, the research that we did internally at Quantfury was we found that women are actually better traders. Our female users perform 33.1% better than our male users. And so all of us benefit from bringing more women into the fold. So thank you so much for the work that you all are doing to make that happen.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think women are more passionate. That's our most important characteristic, I think. We're more passionate about what we do. So it's going to be, I'm really optimistic about the future. So thank you very much, Iyandra. It was great chatting with you. And I wish you all the best through your academic studies, through your podcast, and through Quantfury. I hope you do continue to do a great job there. It was great hosting you today. I'm so personally happy to have met you, and I hope to meet you in person one day. Why not? So thank you so much.
I will be in Istanbul in August, so we have to meet in person. And I don't know if Chala told you guys, but my partner is Turkish, so so he's probably watching this now. So I hear it all. But thank you so much, and it's been a pleasure to be here. See you soon.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you to all the audience. I hope you enjoyed this meetup, and we hope to see you again in different Blockchain Women Istanbul events. So be with us. We would like to really have you all on board. Thank you very much, Iyandra. Thank you very much, Ebru, Chala. Thank you so much. This was a great chat. So bye-bye. Have a great night. And have a great day, Iyandra. You have the day ahead of you.
Yes, have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.